applied assignment. Here's my table of contents and my pre-work. My topic for this assignment is colorblindness, and I wanted to be able to see how this disability affects individuals on a day-to-day basis, and that is also connects to aspects of inclusion. And for those of you who don't know, the pictures on the right, eye doctors actually use that during your eye exam to see if you have any form of color blindness. I interviewed my friend Braden. I knew him for a few months and never even knew he was colorblind. I overheard him say it in a conversation, so it was very perfect for the situation, having to interview someone with a disability. I had no background knowledge on this topic of color blindness. I thought it was a simple, you see color or you don't, kind of black and white, but it is most definitely not like that. It's more like the picture you see on the right hand side. It's that you can see colors, but you may see them in different intensities. The course materials that I chose were people with invisible disabilities, because colorblindness isn't something visible, so it's very perfect. And then I also chose the Americans with Disabilities Act questions and answers, just because it's always good to know the rights that people with disabilities have. The research that I was able to do on my own, one article was called Colorblindness. This gives basic knowledge of what colorblindness is and the different aspects of it. And then there are a few facts that I found out listed below. And then the other article that I found was called About Colorblindness, and this just really shows how we can make those who have colorblindness feel more included, because this is something genetical. It's evidence. On the left side is the messages that I exchanged with my friend about setting up a time for the phone call interview, and then the other screenshot is of the interview. It was about 20 minutes long. And then on the right hand side are just the questions that I asked throughout the interview. And some of the things that I learned through this interview and through doing my own research was the importance of inclusion, how kids can be mean and fake a disability to make fun of someone who doesn't have a disability. This actually happened to my friend, and he shared through the interview that growing up, especially in elementary school, kids would fake being colorblind, and they would be like, yeah, like I can't see that color either. But then once he kind of felt more comfortable around them, they would, be like, yeah, no, I'm not colorblind, and kind of laugh at him. Or they would ask him what certain objects, what their colors were, and if he got it right, they would lie and say that he would have gotten it wrong. And it just shows the importance of inclusion, especially starting out so young. Another one was equity, how if the disability isn't visible, people would treat you differently, which connects to course material when we talked about stereotypes in Module 2. And this is a quote that I grabbed from the Americans with Disabilities Act article, and just about how just discrimination within the workplace and jobs and all of that. And then also going with access is kind of similar to the last slide with if the disability isn't visible, then it may be hard to receive help from strangers. And one of the articles that I read for the research simply shared like how his daughter, had some sort of disability, and that's why they got to park in the handicap parking spot. But when other people would see them, they would kind of give them dirty looks because she didn't have a visible disability. So their access to help may be a little bit more different and difficult because their disability isn't very visible. And then now I want to know, how can people with normal vision help those that are colorblind, especially with like driving. Like, is there any sort of different design we can make with especially like the stoplights and whatnot to help those with colorblindness? And my question for you guys is, what do you think is the most challenging part of being colorblind? Like, if you were to imagine that you were colorblind, what do you think the most challenging part would be? And those are my resources, and thank you guys for listening.